Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham Yahushai, Bahasham Rucha Kodash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to the elect. And today we're going to go into the book of Jeremiah, the 33rd chapter, restoration promised, in which the Lord comes to Jeremiah, and basically the Lord confirms, right, as he's done in past times by the prophets of old, the mercies, right, and the glory and the blessings and the restoration that he's going to bestow upon Israel yet again. Okay, and this would be fulfilled in the kingdom of heaven. All right. So this is Jeremiah chapter 33, verse 1. Moreover, the word of the Lord Yahweh came on to Jeremiah the second time, while he was yet shut up in the court of the prison, saying, so while he was still in the prison court, the Lord came to him and said, thus saith the Lord Yahweh, the maker thereof, which here is referring to like the creator of all, right? The creator of the earth and everything. The Lord that formed it to establish it, the Lord Yahweh is his name. Call unto me, and I will answer thee, and shew thee great and mighty things which thou knowest not. So the Lord is like, ask me, and I'll show you things that you had no idea. I'll show you some mysteries that you have no clue of. For thus saith the Lord Yahweh, the God of Israel, concerning the houses of this city, and concerning the houses of the kings of Judah, which are thrown down by the mounts and by the sword, the mounts being like the siege rams and the weapons of the Chaldeans. So concerning this city and these houses that are destroyed, they come to fight with the Chaldeans, right? Talking about the armies of Israel trying to defend themselves and fight against the Chaldeans. But it is to fill them with the dead bodies of men, meaning it's hopeless because they're just going to end up as, they're just going to die. They're not going to win against the Chaldeans, whom I have slain in mine anger and in my fury, right? Meaning that the Lord was going to be against Israel to cause them to be slain at the hand of the Chaldeans. And for all whose wickedness I have hid my face from this city, right? So because of their wickedness, I have hid my face from the city, and therefore they're going to suffer this fate. Behold, I will bring it health and cure. So continuing the Lord's thought, saying concerning this city and these people that are about to be dead corpse, or dead corpse, wow, they're about to be dead bodies. I'm still, right, nevertheless, going to bring it health and cure, right? And I will cure them and will reveal unto them the abundance of peace and truth. And what's that going to look like? Well, no longer are we going to be captive under other nations. No longer are we going to be a habitation riddled with iniquity, right? With idolatry, with adultery. All of that is going to be a thing of naught. That's going to be a part of that health and cure, along with the beautification, the glory, the immortality, and the abundance of blessings. All right, that's the revelation of peace and truth that the Lord is going to bring upon Israel. And I will cause the captivity of Judah and the captivity of Israel to return. And whenever you see that, that is a key indicator that this would be in the latter days, because that is when this would be fulfilled, right? The deliverance of both southern and northern kingdom from captivity, and will build them as at the first. I believe it mentions even in Amos about the Lord rebuilding the tabernacles of David as in the days of old. That's going to be the elect, the remnant of Judah and Israel being built together as it was before, one nation. And I will cleanse them from all their iniquity, whereby they have sinned against me. So the Lord is going to purge us of that to where it'll no longer be a stain upon us. And I will pardon all their iniquities, whereby they have sinned, and whereby they have transgressed against me. And once again, this is going to apply first and foremost to the elect, because through Yahushai, this is possible. All right, and the elect are the ones that would believe upon Yahushai to gain this first and foremost, and then through their offspring, the rest of the nation would gain it. And it shall be to me a name of joy, a praise, and an honor before all nations of the earth. Right, Israel, that is, would be to the Lord like a joy or an honor right, before all nations of the earth. It's like when you have like a son or a child that accomplishes something really, really great, and like just their name alone is a beautiful thing to you because it brings you honor, right? It says, "We shall hear all the good that I do unto them, and they shall fear and tremble for all the goodness." So these nations in the kingdom, they're gonna tremble with awe, right, at the goodness and for all the prosperity that I procure onto it. So all the joy, the blessings that the Lord is gonna give Israel, these nations are gonna tremble with amazement at that, to see like how can a people be so beloved of God. Thus saith the Lord Yahweh, again there shall be heard in this place which ye say shall be desolate, without a man and without beast, even in the cities of Judah and in the streets of Jerusalem that are desolate, without man and without inhabitant and without beast. So this very same place, right, that you say it's going to be desolate, which, right, once again, rightfully so, because I did tell you to say that. But this very same place, you're going to hear the voice of joy, the voice of gladness, the voice of the bridegroom and the voice of the bride, the voice of them that shall say, praise the Lord Yahweh of hosts, for the Lord is good, and for his mercy endureth forever. And this would be that delivered remnant, right, back in the land, ultimately the restoration of the nation, rejoicing in the Lord for him, basically turning around that captivity, turning around after all these years, after all these decades, these centuries. That's why it mentions his mercy enduring forever. The Lord will still have mercy and deliver Israel. And of them that shall bring the sacrifice of praise into the house of the Lord. So there's going to be so much praise for the Lord. It's going to be like bringing a sacrifice. For I will cause to return the captivity of the land as at the first, saith the Lord. So just as it was before, it was conquered and taken over by the Gentiles, you could say, the Lord is going to return it, back to being our land of old. Thus saith the Lord Yahweh of hosts, again in this place, which is desolate without man and without beast, and in all the cities thereof shall be an habitation of shepherds, causing their flocks to lie down. So again, this very same place that is now desolate without man, without beast, is going to become a place where you have shepherds feeding their flocks, being able to safely take them to graze, and so on and so forth. In the cities of the mountains, in the cities of the vale being like the valleys, and in the cities of the south, and in the land of Benjamin, and in the places about Jerusalem, and in the cities of Judah, shall the flocks pass again under the hands of him that telleth them, saith the Lord. Now, this is in reference, right, to like a shepherd. Telleth meaning to count. And in the ancient world, what you would do is, like, as a shepherd, before taking your sheep out of the sheepfold, right, or the pen to go and graze, you would count every single one. So you have a head count. And at the end, when you bring them back, right, they would cause the sheep to go under the rod, to pass under the rod. And each one that would pass under the rod, the shepherd would count to make sure that, okay, every sheep is accounted for. So as the Lord is saying here, like, that was a common, part of shepherding. But the Lord is using that to say, like, you're going to have people back in the land. And, just like you had shepherds with their flocks, and just that's like a part of normalcy, right? You could say, of people dwelling in the land yet again. And that was the point the Lord was trying to, make here. Or not that he was trying to make, that's the point he was making here. Verse 14, behold, the days come, saith the Lord Yahweh, that I will perform that good thing which I have promised unto the house of Israel and to the house of Judah, right? So that blessing that the Lord had promised also over and over again by way of his prophets, that mercy onto the nation of Israel. He said he would basically make good on that, right? In those days and at that time will I cause the branch of righteousness to grow up onto David. And that branch of righteousness was is Yahushua, right? The Messiah, he's likened onto a branch, meaning he would be a descendant of David. He would come from the line of David, and he shall execute judgment and righteousness in the land, right? And that's why, there are precepts that go into it, how he will be the Prince of Peace, right? And during his reign, there would be, equity, fairness, all of those. He would establish righteousness. So that's concerning the Messiah, Yahushai. In those days shall Judah be saved, and Jerusalem shall dwell safely, right? So no more oppression, no more captivity, no more curses, none of that. And this is the name wherewith she shall be called, the Lord our righteousness, right? Which is like almost like a title, all right, to refer to Israel or Jerusalem. For thus saith the Lord Yahweh, David shall never want a man to sit upon the throne of the house of Israel. So David, basically, like the promise the Lord made to David about him always having a descendant to sit upon the throne, that would still be the case. The Lord wouldn't do away with that promise, right? There wouldn't be a point of us having a ending, right, of that Davidic line, in terms of like rulers amongst Israel, because that was also a promise the Lord made to David, which is interesting because he's raising up the house of David, right? And he mentioned that we would be a nation of kings and priests. Verse 18, neither shall the priests, the Levites want a man before me to offer burnt offerings and to kindle meat offerings and to do sacrifice continually. Meaning there would always be, right? There wouldn't be a lack. Let me just pull this up in the NLT, right? And there will always be a Levitical priest, or always be Levitical priests to offer burnt offerings and grain offerings and sacrifice to me, right? And this is basically the Lord, once again, he's making reference to like the promises that he made, right? The ordinances that he set up in dealing with the nation of Israel, to say that even though there's calamity coming upon you now, even though the northern kingdom is not in the land, even though you're about to be taken out of the land, and it looks like I'm doing away with you, the things that I have said of old concerning you, concerning David, concerning the Levites, like I'm still going to have those things. I'm still going to have mercy and have favor and not do away with that. Okay. Now, obviously in the kingdom, things will look slightly different than how, they did historically. But the point the Lord is making is that he would still return us back to our land, and we would be able to dwell and serve the Lord as of old. Verse 19, and the word of the Lord Yahweh came unto Jeremiah, saying, thus saith the Lord Yahweh, if ye can break my covenant of the day and my covenant of the night. And what he means by the covenant of the day and the covenant of the night is the laws of day and night, right? The fact that day and night is something that happens. You can't stop that, right? You can't stop the sun from coming up, and you can't stop the sun from going down. If you can stop that, as it says, and that there should not be day and night in their season, then may also my covenant be broken with David my servant, that he should not have a son to reign upon his throne, and with the Levites, the priests, my ministers. See, so now you might say, well, wait, I thought, because of the Babylonians doing this, there would be no more kings upon the throne of Judah. But if you notice, the Lord preserved the line of David. Okay. And so when he says here, right, that he should not have a son to reign upon his throne, the Lord didn't abolish the line of David, because it's from that same line Yahushai came. He may have, put an end to us being able to rule and us being in captivity. He basically had us in captivity, but he never ended that Davidic dynastic line, even till this very day. All right. It says, and with the Levites, the priests, my ministers, as the host of heaven cannot be numbered, neither the sand of the sea measured, so will I multiply the seed of David, my servant, and the Levites that minister unto me. So the Lord is reassuring Jeremiah that, hey, regardless of what's going on right now, just keep in mind that I'm going to remain loyal and faithful to the mercy that I have promised onto this people. Moreover, the word of the Lord Yahweh came to Jeremiah, saying, Considerest thou not what this people have spoken, saying, the two families which the Lord Yahweh hath chosen, i.e., Israel and Judah, he hath even cast them off. Thus they have despised my people, that they should be no more a nation before them. Now I'm going to read this in the NLT, which once again makes it a bit, in the modern English, it's a bit easier to perceive the way it's being said. Have you noticed what people are saying? The Lord Yahweh chose Judah and Israel and then abandoned them. They are sneering and saying that Israel is not worthy to be counted as a nation. See, thus saith the Lord, if my covenant be not with day and night, and if I have not appointed the ordinances of heaven and earth. So if the ordinance, right, of day and night, of the sun rising and the sun setting, of the darkness coming and the dawn and the dusk and all those things, if those cease to exist, right, then will I cast away the seed of Jacob. That's when the Lord is saying that I'm going to do away with Israel and David my servant, so that I will not take any of his seed to be rulers over the seed of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. For I will cause their captivity to return and have mercy on them. And this also goes to show you why the Lord had Yahushua, the Messiah, come from the line of David, because he is the inheritor ultimately of the kingdom. He would sit on the highest throne, right under the Most High. But in doing that, the Lord still adheres to his promise to David of having his seed be rulers over the seed of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, i.e. being kings of Israel. For I will cause their captivity to return, meaning the Lord will deliver us from captivity and have mercy on them, right? And have mercy on us. All right. And this is ultimately, once again, going to be the final captivity that he will deliver us from and bestow these mercies upon us. All right. And that brings us to the end of the book of Jeremiah, the 33rd chapter. Lord willing, this is edifying to the elect. In closing, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahushai, Bahasham, Racha, Kodash. And until next time, Shalom.